Okay, this is just a final wrap-up video of my Fieldmarshal ANH DL-44 blaster build. This is kit straight from his site, and I've installed a electronic soundboard, Plecter's Blaster Core version 5. This has been a long time in the making. The initial kit I had bought, this was back in February, and I wanted some accuracy. So when I saw another kit that was more accurized, like there were some details that that this one has that the first one didn't have, such as the extractor milled out and some of the stuff there. I opted for that. The initial kit also had a aluminum scope, flash hider, and bull barrel. Now the scope was anodized. I didn't like it. I didn't like the black anodization, so I decided to get the this one that I have now, which is steel. This scope is steel, flash hider is steel, as is the bull barrel. These ones as well, the discs. And I wanted to try my hand at weathering it, bluing it to be more specific, and that required also some research. So it was just fun. It was rather fun to do. Let's see. Yeah, there's a number of people I like to thank as I went along with this. First of all, there's Scott Juarez. I asked him a lot of questions as usual. Oops. He also provided the stencil kit for this weathering of the bar and the discs here. It's turned out really well. Well, I kind of messed up. Well, I didn't really. Well, it was much longer than I had thought. So if we're to do this again, I know what to do next time in order to move this part over just a tad. But overall, I'm happy with how it turned out. Other people to thank, obviously, is Fieldmarshal, his kit. Thankful for his after-sales service. This, like I said, it was a long time in the making. When I bought the second kit, this was held up at customs. It's weird because prior to that, I had successfully imported 2 other Denexes into Canada, and so I obviously appealed the decision by the CBSA. And 4 months later, the appeals officer ruled in my favor based on the arguments I put forward. So I sold the first kit to one of the guys on the Lightsaber Canada Facebook group, Jeremy, and that was in August. And I started this project, finally started this project in September. So about 3 to 4 weeks. I didn't expect it to be to finish this that fast, because my prior blaster build, the Ray blaster build, the LPN A-44, I can't remember the numbers. Anyway, the Ray blaster build I did a year ago. It took me about 3 months. So, other people to thank. Let's see. Trent White also. While we're on the subject of the stencils, I had to learn how to apply it onto the discs and the bar. There was a video he had posted on the Rebel Armory forum for those wanting to do the stencil application on the Souls Hold V2 run, and I just watched it and did what he had instructed in that video, applied it here. So let's see who else. In terms of thanks, in terms of bluing, yeah, I watched a number of videos on YouTube on how people blued their guns. It actually is a very simple process. It doesn't take that long, not even a minute, to be honest with you. It's in terms of prepping, you had to make sure that this surface is clean. Otherwise, the afterwork won't look as good. So prepping was really important, I learned. And yeah, and even after I'd watched all those videos, I'm still apprehensive about it. Reached out to Deanna and asked her if she had blued some stuff. She said yes. And after some encouragement, I did it. It was good. It's actually very, like I said, very easy process. For the scope, I initially did one application of the PermaBlue, Birchwood Casey's PermaBlue, and I showed Christopher the end product, and he said do another coat. So I did, followed his advice, and I roughly sanded it with 000, that was 4 zeros, 40 fine wool, and this is how it turned out. I believe I only did one coating of the PermaBlue for the bull barrel and the flash hider. I sanded it down too with the wool, and I found that the first time around it matched the color of the scope, which was this was pretty dark. I didn't want that, so I did it again. I sanded it a bit more, have a more lighter look to it, which is what so I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. What else was there? This one here, brass. I was initially planning to use black wash for this, but there's a member on the Facebook's Star Wars Blaster group, Martin McLean. He had suggested using also the PermaBlue on this, which I did, and it turned out really well. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Mind you though, while I was going for some accuracy, I wasn't going for 100% accuracy on this build. For the parts I could accurize, great. For other parts, if I can't do it, I'm happy with it. You know, I'm not into the whole accuracy thing like others are. So, but yeah, I'm really happy with the way it turned out in general. This one here is real wood. Had to hollow it out for the speaker to fit in. And another great thing that Fieldmarshal did was he also milled out a certain section here to help vent the sound, for venting a sound. So that also helped a lot. Recharge port hole. My brother had an office mate who was able to do that for me. I thank him for that. Did it for free too, so it was pretty much a favor. He had done also the same thing. He had done similar favor on my Ray Blaster build a year ago. So he was a really great help. He did a great job too. Auxiliary switch. One of Scott Wars' videos on one of his Fieldmarshal commissions, he had placed the auxiliary switch here. Normally, well, with Fieldmarshals, he mills this out and puts this T-mag on. So normally, Scott would have the auxiliary switch down here, which, because this now opens, it's not possible to do so. So he placed the switch here. So I did the same thing. It's not as flush. I probably still sand it down a bit more. So yeah, let's see. Now this one here, this brass here, I did not weather this, and this is by I did that on purpose. I wanted it to stand out. Although it is, some parts are weathered, I just like the clean look. So this was purposely not weathered. Let's see what else here. The battery is a 7.4 volt 10440 lithium ion battery pack by Souls Hold. It's ready to go. Bought it from him, from his site. And yeah, what else there? Let me show you this one here. This is where the battery pack is, and access to SD card if I were to change anything, wanted to change or add new sound fonts or reset the or change the configurations. So right there. One of the last parts I did was this one here again. This part. It's magnetized. One of the videos I watched of Scott Wars way back was that he had this magnetized on here, so I thought that was also a great idea, that I should do the same thing. But the main reason though was why I did it that way too is just in the event that I were to take this thing apart, this part here, this would not get in the way, so, and it wouldn't be damaged in the process. I don't know, who knows. I may be careless or whatever the case may be. So yeah. Overall, I'm really happy with how this turned out. There's some, in the overall scheme of things, there's probably a few things I would have done differently. I would actually have, were I to do it again, I probably would want to sand on the whole thing and actually blue this rather than paint this all flat black, which is what I did. The stencil for this one came with the stencil that I had bought from Scott, so that was used to do that circle there, that mystery disc. This one here is aluminum. I just painted it flat black again. You can see the paint sort of coming off now, which is good. It's more of a natural weathering in this case. Whoop. And you see through. There are two lenses here. There's a dome lens, and behind that dome lens is a flat lens to give some depth. And the kit came also with a reticle there. You can see it. It's the red outline. And there's also another lens on the opposite end of the scope. You won't be able to see it really. But here it is. You can see a good view of the reticle there on this opposite side. Now there's also a 5mm RGB LED. I tried my hand of wiring one. It went okay, it was fine, except for the fact that one of the LEDs I wired, I thought it was blue, it was actually green. So for the stun, instead of the stun blue, it's a stun green. I'll show that shortly. Is there anything else? And in terms of building this whole thing, there was a great reference on YouTube, Machining Max Productions, Matthew Iannelli, who's also a member on the Star Wars builder group on Facebook. He posted a tutorial video on how to wire this thing, and I used that as a guide. It was a great help, great resource. And I'd also use one of his, unfortunately I can't open it, but I had posted a lot of my work in progress pics on Facebook. I used also one of his switch mounts, trigger switch mounts in here. So all the stuff that I'm referring to, I'm gonna leave a link in the description below, and hopefully that'll help others who want to do their own build. And well, just briefly, lest I forget, this one here, this stand, this is one of the few left that was on a run. Well, I don't know if it was a run, but that Obi Shane Customs had offered a couple of years ago on the Rebel Armory forum. I reached out to him a few months ago, stand for my Return of the Jedi DL-44 blaster, and for this particular one, because it's different. There are some changes, minor differences. Main thing being this one here, in order to support the bull barrel. So I thank him for that, and very minimalist design. And the rest are default stock fonts from on the blaster core. Yeah. Okay, let's check that out. I believe this is Emprin. So red. Show the stun, which is supposed to be blue, but green. Okay. Let's go to the other one. Back to muzzle. As long as the main muzzle flash is red, I'm happy with it. If that didn't turn out to be the case, I would have had to break this whole thing down again, and that would have been unfortunate, because wiring this thing or putting everything in here was quite a feat. Took quite some time, really. So much so that I kind of messed up in the sense that I didn't push down the wires far enough, so now the slide won't slide all the way. This one here won't slide. Unfortunately, the wire is kind of holding it back. So, but again, realistically speaking, if I were to just shoot this thing, I won't be pulling this thing back, so it's not much of a setback for me. So, it's great sound, nice venting there. So let me just go through the other fonts, or there are the main ones that I Let's recharging it. Oops, do it again. Sorry.
Audio clear.
Han Solo. Wookiee religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Like I said, there are 3 clips in here that are integrated into the blaster sounds.
Yes, I bet you have.
It's one of them. Let's see if I can get the other 2. Okay, that's the other one.
Sorry about the mess.
Okay, that's the third one. The other font is for the ESB version of Han's gun on the Empire Strikes Back.
Wookiee religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid. Han Solo.
It isn't friendly, whatever it is. Come on, Chewie, let's check it out. It
isn't friendly, whatever it is. Come on, Chewie, let's check it out. It isn't friendly, whatever it is. Come on, Chewie, let's check it out.
Going. 1 second. Oh.
We would be honored if you would join us. Afraid there's not much left.
What was it?
Droid of some kind. I didn't hit it that hard. Must have had a self-destruct.
An Imperial probe droid.
We would be honored.
I think that's the last one there.
Afraid there's not much left.
What was it?
Droid of some kind. I didn't hit it that hard. Must have had a self-destruct.
That's it. Yeah. So, again, I'm quite happy with how it turned out. This one had to be masked in order to highlight the extractor. This was the part I was referring earlier in the video, where some parts were, some of this were done for accuracy. Like this, for instance, this milled out part here, and this one here too. You can see it was milled as well. So again, happy with how, overall, I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's been a long time. It's really hefty too. Really hefty. So, oh, is there anything else I've missed? I think that's pretty much everything. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, I thank all those guys again for all their help. If I've missed anyone, I'm sorry. I'm just doing this off top of my mind, actually. So, and yeah. Okay, that's about it, guys. Oh, yeah, I didn't. This one here, I didn't permanently glue it down, because if I were to having to unscrew this would have been in the way. So this is still removable. I forgot about that. So yeah, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.